having all kinds of fun conversations with people today. So let me give you guys a quick little tutorial and lesson real quick that wanted to criticize the president and governors and people that wanted to potentially enact the National Guard in these communities. Like Minneapolis, for example, they asking for like $55 million right now. I'm sorry, I wouldn't give it to them, and here's why. You should have kept your people in your community under control. You should have called in your local National Guard if your police force couldn't help. And here's why. On no day of the week would it have been unconstitutional for the National Guard to react to try to regain peace. You know why? When you enlist and you do your oath, in the oath it says, I will protect and defend the Constitution against foreign and domestic terrorists. I don't care what your birth certificate says. If you're in the U.S. and you are acting like you ain't got no God-given fucking common sense, and you're putting other United States citizens at risk, guess what you no longer are? You are no longer a citizen. You are a local, domestic terror. So, with that being said, the president enacted it. It's not illegal. Y'all just don't feel right about it because you're like, it's Americans killing Americans. So it's people defending people that are in trouble that don't even need to be in trouble, because you got some hoodlums and hood rats using an excuse of a situation to be little shits. You need your fucking asses beat. Somebody needs to just lay your ass over somebody's lap and just wear you the fuck out. But Jesus, take the wheel.
When the looting starts, the shooting starts. That's the ominous warning from the US president after another violent day of protests in America. These were the extraordinary scenes on the streets of Minneapolis today as anger deepens over the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man at the hands of police. In one part of the city, which was overrun by protests, they stormed a local station, forcing officers to flee as it was set on fire. There are now fears the violence is spreading across America. Several other protests have erupted. Here's our North America correspondent, Catherine Diss.
For the third day in a row, Minneapolis is burning, a message of protest in words and flames. The demonstrators converged on the police precinct where the officers involved in the death of George Floyd were stationed. Soon it too was alight, and the police were forced to flee their own stronghold.
It seems that the protesters have taken over the police station and it's on fire.
National Guard troops have been called in by the state governor, with local police struggling to cope with the scale of the unrest. There had been peaceful protests earlier in the day.
We want justice.
But the anger was impossible to contain.
Oh my God.
Stores were looted and vandalised, and more fires were lit, metres away from the ruins of buildings destroyed the night before. The family of George Floyd say the police responsible for his death should be given the death penalty.
That was my oldest brother. I love him. I'm never going to get my brother back.
In a late-night tweet, the president condemned the looters, saying the military could assist, adding when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Soon after, Twitter flagged that comment as glorifying violence and hid the tweet behind a warning. The US Department of Justice says its investigation is a top priority, and it's assigned experienced prosecutors to the case. The US President Donald Trump has described George Floyd's death as